So until the age of 22, I struggled with social anxiety. I was always having people speak over me. I was anxious when meeting new people, and I felt like the side character in the background of someone else's movie. Now, you might be feeling the same, and if you struggle with shyness or you struggle with confidence, today I'm going to give you a 3-step roadmap to becoming one of the most confident people in the room. Because in today's world, success is more influenced by your confidence than anything else. And this isn't going to be one of those cheesy self-help videos where I tell you to repeat power affirmations in the mirror or just fake it until you make it. These are going to be real and actionable steps you can start doing today to turn yourself into the person who gets what you want out of life. The person who has the confidence to pursue the career they want, stand up for themselves, and attract high quality people in their lives. And I know this because I grew up without any self-worth. My father wasn't around because he smoked crack instead of raising us. I used to be addicted to video games, playing 10 to 14 hours a day, and I was made fun of for being a chubby chunker. And every day I lived in fear of people's opinions of me. I told myself I was no good, I wasn't worth anything, I was a loser. I was trapped in the mental prison I built for myself. So from the ages of 9 to 22, I struggled, but I also did a ton of work on myself. I started from zero, and it took me years of painful application to learn confidence. So I'm not just some random person spewing quotes from a $20 self-help book. I did the work, and this isn't going to be an overnight switch for you either. This is going to take months of active work, but if you are consistent, I guarantee you are going to build real and authentic confidence that cannot be faked. So what I'm about to share with you is what I wish I knew from the start. The roadmap to confidence is going to consist of 3 phases. Phase 1 is recognize, phase 2 is reframe, and phase 3 is reinforce. I really like the R's. But for this confidence system to work, you need to follow the steps in each phase. They build off one another and work together. So phase 1 is to recognize, and this phase consists of 2 steps. So the first step is to define what confidence looks like for you. Most people say they want to be confident, but can't even describe what it means to them. And without defining what confidence is for you, you're going to be aimlessly wandering, trying to get to a destination without a map. Grab a pen and paper and set a timer for 30 to 90 minutes. And during this block, describe in vivid detail what the most confident version of you looks like. How do you feel emotionally? How do you speak? What does your body look like? What are your daily habits? How do you dress? From the first hour of your day to the last hour of your day, what does it look like? Take the time to really visualize what this version of you looks like. This will become your North Star. So when you go about your day-to-day life, you'll know if you're straying off the path or if you're on the right track. Once finished, refer to it often. Add or change details as you see fit. Now, the second step is to recognize the current habits killing your confidence. So if your habits and lifestyle aren't aligned with the person you are trying to become, it'll be like trying to cross the ocean with a fucking hole in your boat. And one of the biggest killers of your confidence is cheap dopamine. So things like overconsumption of video games, overusing social media, and using adult videos. Wink, wink. And these fry your dopamine receptors by rewarding you for unearned pleasure, and your brain gets used to this. Then when it comes time to take action that requires effort, your motivation is destroyed. So no wonder you lack confidence. You're signaling to your brain that you do not respect yourself. You'd rather live a life of cheap pleasure than do things you know you should be doing. You skip workouts, you can't focus for over 5 minutes, and you put off your goals. So I can be like everyone else and say, just use your willpower and don't do these habits, but let's be real. Most people will quit for a day and go back to their old habits the next. So if you want to eliminate these bad habits, you need to remove them as an option. And the easiest way I found to do this is to use an app blocker like Cold Turkey, Freedom, and you can use these to block specific apps and websites. And I swear I'm not sponsored by these people. I always reference app blockers, but just saying they're very useful. I'm not sponsored or affiliated in any way whatsoever. But when bad habits aren't an option in the first place, you're going to adopt new habits as your default. And these habits need to be ones that are aligned with your new confident identity. So enter phase 2, and this is the reframe phase. So people are telling you, just be confident, bro, or fake it till you make it. And this is stupid advice. For years, I searched for the one secret that would change everything. If I read one more book or listened to one more podcast, it might contain the gold nugget that would unlock the confidence I was looking for my whole life. And because of this, it got in the way from me finding true confidence. I mean, think about it. You don't go from obese to running marathons the next day. And the same applies to confidence. You need to build it up over time. And one of the most powerful tools you can use to do this is reframing. So view your self-improvement journey as a video game. If you're at level 1 in a video game, you wouldn't go around trying to slay a level 50 boss. You'd work your way up, get experience, level up, and take on bigger challenges. That's exactly what I did when I started out. At first, I would start to make small talk with cashiers at the grocery store, and I made it a habit to ask the cashier how their day was going every time I went shopping. And at first, it was very uncomfortable, but over time, I got used to it. I looked at each conversation as more experience points that were being put toward my charisma stats. And by reframing my lack of experience as something I was actively leveling up in every time I practice it, I turned it into a game and it became fun. And over time, I leveled up to starting conversations with strangers and asking for women's number at cafes and the gym. Now, this transitions perfectly to the second step of phase 2. So until the age of 22, I was constantly identifying with my feelings. And when I was in an uncomfortable situation, I labeled it as anxiety. And in my head, I played the narrative, oh, I have social anxiety. And I identified with that feeling. And we're not taught this, but stories we tell ourselves are the most powerful things in our lives. Your default actions and thoughts align with the identity you assign yourself. So by choosing the identity of a socially anxious person, I lived the life of a socially anxious person. Surprise, surprise. But then at the age of 22, I read a book, The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. And in it, the author talked about disconnecting your feelings from your identity. You are not anxious. You are not shy. You are not a loser. You may experience feelings that you label as anxiety or shyness or being a loser, but you are not that. You need to challenge the belief that you are not your feelings. Instead, reframe it as what it is, a feeling. Something you experience and observe. And when you remind yourself of this, it loses power over you. So when a feeling of low confidence or anxiety comes up, recognize the narrative and reframe it. Flip the script on it. Think of the times in the past where you did the opposite. Oh, I'm actually confident because I started a conversation with that cashier at the grocery store. I'm confident because I started a conversation with that stranger at the mall. I am confident because I went up to that cute girl at the cafe and got her number. You do not need affirmations. You need to build a stack of undeniable proof that supports your confident identity. And the best way to ensure this identity sticks is through phase 3, which is reinforcement. Reinforcement is all about stepping into your new confident identity. And this comes down to 3 habits. Number 1 is journaling. So journaling is one of the best ways to cultivate self-awareness. Write about your day. What went well? What didn't? What are your thoughts toward both situations? Challenge your limiting beliefs as they come up and practice gratitude for what's good in your life. And this will train your mind to think this way in everyday life. Again, just like a video game, every session boosts your thinking skill. It's one of the best practices you can adopt to build confidence and self-awareness. Now, the second habit is exercise. And I could go on about the benefits about exercise, but one of the big ones people don't talk about is the act of showing up to physically train and its effect on your discipline. This discipline translates to every area of your life, your work, your relationships, and your thoughts. And by sitting in that discomfort of physical discomfort, you're going to raise your tolerance for it in everyday life. And you're going to feel more at ease. You're going to feel more in tune with your body. So when these triggers of stress come, since you'll be conditioned to handling stress, they're not going to affect you as much. So it's very important that you train, whether it's jujitsu, whether it's boxing, whether it's lifting weights in the gym, running. You need some kind of form of exercise. Now, the third habit is reading. And this sounds so cliche, but your diet with your food affects how your body looks. And the same thing applies to your mind. If you're just consuming TikTok and Instagram reels all day, the thirst traps, then don't be surprised when your mind is always craving these short-term dopamine hits, when you're always wanting to watch the adult videos. You need to be very conscious of the content that you're consuming. So read books from people you look up to. Read books from people that have confidence. Listen to podcasts. Watch YouTube videos. Make sure they're educational. Only watch me. Be very conscious of what you're consuming, because the information you put into your brain is brainwashing you. Right now, I am brainwashing you to think a certain way. Whether you know it or not, it's sitting in your subconscious, and that's going to influence your identity, and it's going to influence your actions. So you need to be very cognizant of what you are consuming. So there you have it. Those are 3 phases I went through to really build my confidence, and they all work together. That's the big thing I want you to take away is don't just do one of these. Like, practice all of these. And you don't have to start deadlifting 500 pounds or reading a book a week, but start slowly. Read a page a day. Go to the gym for 10 minutes a day. Just build the habit, and over time you're gonna increase your tolerance for each of these habits. You increase your tolerance for each of these situations you put yourself in, and you're gonna build your confidence. And I guarantee if you just stay consistent, you don't have this expectation where you're gonna be Mr. Confident or Mrs. Confident overnight. I guarantee you're gonna look back a year from now, 2 years from now, and be glad you started, and you're gonna realize how much you have changed. So that's all I have for today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment any advice you have for people, and if you want more content on online business, social media growth, and cheesy self-improvement content, then go ahead, click subscribe, and hit that bell notification. So that's all I have. Much love, and have a kick-ass day.